What is up, everybody? How we doing today? How we doing this evening? Anybody have anything crazy, new, exciting happen? Hmm. I know that there's we all know, right? All the drama that unfolded between a couple individuals. That give me a second. Give me a second. Daughter has to bother me about something. Yeah, you should. You used it last year. You used it last season. Okay, yep. Go find it then. All right. Bye bye. So now that that's over with, yeah, right. So we all know what happened with all that drama. Man, boy, I tell you what, one of them went batshit crazy. I know a lot of people love Mr. Shane. It's all the props to him and what he's doing, what he's been doing, and you know, there's lots of us that have designs and everything, and have the desire to make our own knives, have the desire to get our own designs out there into people's hands. I don't know the dude that well. I've only had maybe a handful of very short, light conversations that I was not the only one having the conversations with him. It was always, two, three, four of us that were talking together, and my very minimal input into the conversations was probably didn't have a whole lot of weight to him, but I never saw him as somebody that was going to go off and be so emotionally invested like he was. Maybe I'm wrong. I must have been. I had to have been wrong in my perception of the guy. I thought he was a lot more chill than that, and he clearly showed all of us that you know you push certain buttons at things that he really cares about, and he'll get nasty quick in a heartbeat. Right, right. So, well, that was all of that, and I hope that the pill's been swallowed and we're just moving on, right? Freaking Jack Wolf Knives moved on and moved forward, uh, and I don't know who picked up. Anybody in here pick up one of those fixed plates? The the price was, I think, fair for what it is and who it's coming from. Jack Wolf Knives are a little on the higher end. I think they're a little proud of what they have and who they are in that regards, and therefore that's reflected in the price to an extent. Yeah, maybe. But I have a beer. I have a beer. I don't know if y'all can tell what kind of beer it is. It's a seasonal beer of that particular brand name, and it's my favorite of their seasonal flavors. And I gotta find a bottle cap opener because I don't think I've got one within reach at the moment. Do I? I don't think I do. Holy shit. I gotta get out of my seat to find a bottle opener. God damn, Urban. Yeah, I don't think I have any at my drawer thing here. None of the knives that I have on this side, all my higher end knives, none of them have bottle openers. Let me see. Oh, I used to keep one right up here somewhere. Da, 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 da. Bottle opener, where would you be? Man, the time that I'm looking for one here at my dresser, I could go to the kitchen and grab the one that I know exactly where that one's at. I know exactly where that one's at. Let me go grab that one. The one I keep in the kitchen in the eating utensils drawer is the Harbor Freight tools bottle opener wrench. So I always know where exactly where that one's at. But normally I have at least one, if not two of them floating around my desk here. I'm sure they've got to be up here somewhere. But I wasn't gonna keep keep searching. Have y'all watch me search for something when I knew exactly where the other one was. But yeah, yeah. There was some decent negativity on both sides, but from what I've read and saw and heard, um, it was very heavily frustration and emotions tied up um, on Shane with Shane. He really felt like they had overstepped. But again, it's like beating a dead horse. With everybody's already done and gotten over and talked about that shit 5 times, 5 million times over. So let's go see. Let's see. We got anybody special besides my usual gang here? Marco and Ground Fog and B&A's hat that he sent me. The good old bucket nines. I have not purchased a buck in freaking years, and like nothing that they've come out with new has really excited me in any particular way. So, but I do love their classics. They are a classic brand to, you know. Kathleen, good to see you, Kathleen. Thank you for stopping by. Of course, B Shady's in the house. Neil, hello, how are you? And Joe. Anybody else pop in yet? Oh, Matt. How do you pronounce that last name? Matt Maurer? Is it Maurer? How do you pronounce that last name? Ed's here. What's up, Ed? How are you? So, what was up? Who was in Wednesday nights live with me? And all of us. Um, Wednesday night's Satisfaction live, where Sharif, like not even 20 to 25 minutes into the live, that dude was snoozing. He was power snoozing. Like power with an M. It is German. It definitely was a German read on my part, being German myself. Um, some Mauer, just got you. Cool. Hey, it's the Johnsons is in the house. What's up? Your package from last Friday's win is supposedly gonna get to you on Monday, perhaps. That's what good old slow mail USPS is saying. So hopefully that package arrives. Please let me know that then everything is there and the wood pieces are intact and nothing got damaged. If anything got, I'm pretty solid at packing stuff up and protecting stuff that goes through mail services. But you never know with the way they beat the shit and throw everything around. But if something's broken, say if something got cracked or whatever, let me know. Again, it doesn't take those little things, those little wood pieces, small stuff like that. That's fairly work wise fairly easy. Doesn't take but 3 to 3.5 hours tops for me to crank that out, then I don't mind I don't mind doing it again and making another one, making a couple more, if anything. What's everybody having for dinner or had for dinner? Um, we the wife, the missus, even though I had like two or three things meals ready to go that I was going to, you know, fix something up for the kids before the live here. Mrs. Urban decided that she would do me the solid and go get Panda Express. So that's what we had for dinner. And here's my fortune cookie. Let's see if I got a half decent fortune. Says being thankful will deliver good news this week. That's what it says. Being thankful will deliver good news this week. You know, half of these things aren't really even fortunes. They're just kind of just freaking stupid sayings or whatever. Is your head in the gutters right now, Mrs. Urban? I'm always thankful. I don't know what they talking about. Them damn communists. They're the ones that aren't ever thankful. But yeah. So ooh, Neil. That sounds good. Chicken cheese sandwiches, barbecue chips. I'm not a fan of cottage cheese, but you know, to each their own. And Twinkies. Dude, I have not eaten a Twinkie in like absolute forever. Like I do not go near Twinkies. Um, y'all remember the movie Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage in it? Not. I mean, it in some ways it's a good movie, and in a lot of ways is was not a good movie. Um, uh oh. Mrs. Urban's out hanging out with friends. Oh, great. Pizza and wings, Joe. Pizza and wings, homemade pizza with the Johnsons. Yeah, see, I'm Friday night's always a great night for to deem as pizza night and that have pizza. And I misplaced my oh no, I know where it is. Hold on, I gotta grab something. I was working on sharpening one of my knives um, that I felt needed to be reprofiled. Why? I don't understand. Maybe one of y'all does. Why the hell do knife companies sharpen their folders? Your small and medium folders, non-tactical, non-outdoorsy folders, your everyday freaking pocket knives. You know the typical stuff that all of us buy and use to open up all of our packages and cut little shit here and there. Why the hell do these companies go and put 20-degree edges, 20-degree edges on these 3 inch, 3.5 inch, even sub 3 inch blades? I do not understand that. Because after you cut about, I don't care what the steel is, I don't care if it's freaking magna cut and heat treated perfectly, this 63 HRC, if after cutting enough stuff, hard stuff, to where you've got to sharpen that blade, I can't get that blade like hair popping sharp like I want to, with it having originally been uh, at a 20-degree grind. I've got to knock it down to 17. And the harder the steel, the tougher it is. Everybody knows who sharpens their knives knows that, like your MagnaCut, like S90V, stuff like the 20 CVs, all the tougher steel, the harder steels, harder HRCs that take more effort and time to sharpen. Filing those edges from 20 to 17 just takes me absolutely freaking forever, and it's just so damn frustrating for me. I hate, just really hate having to do it, and because it's not fun. It like I actually don't mind sharpening if it's just touching things up. If it's a quick reward in getting that edge honed back up to perfection, and just pulling, just taking hairs off my arm with no effort. I love the satisfaction of that when you sharpen a knife back up to being able to do that, to being that freaking wicked sharp. But when it takes absolutely forever because I've got to reprofile it because the company put it at 20 degrees, and I've got to get it at 7, reprofiled to 17. Oh, it just irks the hell out of me. It just bothers me so much. Bothers me so much, and it takes any amount of joy out of sharpening a knife. It just does. I can't stand it. Trying to get the pipe going. I'm not wrong. Okay, good. It's not just me, because if I sit there and I'm just like, why the mm. It's so bothersome. It just really bothers me when I'm having to deal with that. I don't know why those companies do it. Why 20 degrees? Mm, 20 degrees is what I like on my small hand axes and hatchets and stuff like that, or in my machetes and things like that, things of that size and of that nature that need the edge to have some strength behind it to help prevent it and minimize chipping, or bad rolling of the blade. That's when 20 degrees comes in handy and makes sense, but not on these little folders, not on these small everyday folders. As much as more as I'm using, I'm trying to say this right so it makes sense. 'Cause what was in my head was not going to make sense if I blurted it out. With how much more frequently I am using this little tobacco pipe rather than smoking cigars, um, I probably need to invest in getting a better pipe. I don't know if I want to make my own like I made Stevie's. Like I think that was a one and only time for me. And granted, it was my first time taking. Well, I've made a bowl before for a pipe for somebody. I've redone a bowl, but I've not done the bowl and the stems. So doing the one that I made for Stevie, that came out freaking incredibly awesome. Like I could have not have been happier. It was probably, from a woodworker's perfectionist point of view, I had it about 90% perfect. 90% of the way close to being perfect. And I was just so freaking happy with how good of a job I ended up doing with that pipe. pipe to where I don't think I really, truly, honestly, full disclosure, I don't think I could ever make one that freaking good again. All at one go, one time attempt, and not having any screw ups, not having anything that I had to like, oh shit, this is gonna be a bitch to fix it. No, I didn't. It that entire build process went really smooth, and it shocked the hell out of me that it did, and I was so pleased with the end result and what I sent to Stevie. Um, was damn good for me. And yeah, um, yeah, that's what I made that's what I made it out of. Well, that's what the bowl was. The bowl I believe was cherry, and the two stems that I had were walnut, and walnut works really great for the dark walnut that I had. That stuff works really great for your stems because it's a tougher, it's a more dense wood, which is fine for being in your mouth, and then you don't get any weird funky flavors from it with having it in your mouth or holding it in your mouth. It's just yeah, you don't get any funky flavors, and it makes for a really good stem. So yeah, I was super happy with having those materials, and then the size that I made it, and providing him with two different stem sizes, stem lengths, for whatever he wants, whatever he's feeling. Um, but yeah, this was uh, this was the pipe that I bought off Amazon to kind of use as my guide, as my template, um, in building his. And since then, I've just kind of just been using this thing. But this is a very, very small little bowl, very small little bowl, and therefore it becomes a more smaller bowls are inherently more of a challenge to keep going, to keep lit. You have to baby it a lot harder and pay closer attention to it, and you often have to relight it. So that's why you see me sitting here constantly relighting it, because that's just the nature of having this small of a bowl, um, and having such little tobacco in it at a time. But yeah, absolutely, it's an art, but I mean it's a challenge, which is crazy because cigars are way easier, way easier. You have to like for your cigar to go out, and you have to relight it. A decent cigar, a solid cigar, that was made properly, made well, not a dud. Because you do have your duds where the the wrapper's not done exactly right, and you got a bad cap, or the fill is too tight towards the end that you're putting in your mouth, and so you don't get a decent draw. So then you've got to go with a draw pick and do all that, or it wants to try to unravel from the cap. That's why I prefer a punch rather than a cigar punch rather than the cutters. Um, because you're less likely to have issues with that cap coming off and the cigar outer wrapper trying to unravel on you. The punch just does a better job in keeping that from happening. But yeah, then I guess we don't need to talk about cigars so much because none of y'all smoke, do you? Yeah, Miss Urban. She tried one of my cigars. I think the at the very beginning when I first had my first cigar, which I did on my 30th birthday. Waited until I was 30 before picking up a cigar, and I've never touched a cigarette. Absolutely refuse to, and I won't do those vape things either. But yeah, so she tried it and she didn't care for it. Oh, did she? Did she do cigars because she cared to do cigars, or did she do cigars because Bill Clinton did and does cigars? Oh, I don't know if he still does, but I knew at that time he was definitely smoking cigars. Because I know a lot of females will pick up on those particular habits just because the man that they're with or the man that they desire has that as a particular habit slash hobby. Oh yeah, yeah. Up in Maine, you grew up in Maine? Cheap brew and well, I'm guessing cheap cigars. Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do mix a little bit of other stuff in with the pipe tobacco. It supposedly helps me. It kind of sort of helps me with headaches and with my back pain. Makes it numbs it just the tiniest little bit. Oh wow! So you're a Maine person, pretty through and through. First 21 years of your life. I'm definitely a Georgia boy, born and raised. Didn't leave until I was 18. Well, I didn't officially leave to live somewhere else until I was 18 when I went into the Navy, and then after 3.5 years of having to live in San Diego area, came back to Georgia. That's kind of just how it ended up happening for my second duty station. Ended up back in my home state. I kind of had I pretty much had the option of either down here in South Georgia on the nuclear submarine base as a small attachment of CBs, basically serving as public works and small construction projects there on the base is really all we did. Um, or it was kind of sort of the same job, same role, the small detachment that was down in Jacksonville, Florida. And so it was either South Georgia or Jacksonville, Florida. And I don't like Jacksonville, Florida. The traffic sucks. The crime is definitely higher there than Kings Bay, Georgia has. Kings Bay, Georgia is much smaller, uh, much smaller, and so I kind of leaned in that direction of um, one being in my home state again, but two just you know not dealing with crime and not dealing with massive amount of heavy chunks of traffic to deal with and the big city feel. I was like, I'm ready to go back to a much smaller town feel. Yeah, just have my life be a little quieter, a little calmer. That was the goal. So that's why I ended up back in Georgia. So yeah, what was everybody's carries this week? Anybody get anything new? For the most part, because I've only been had to go to work for a couple of days this week. For the most part, there was nothing in my pocket. Hold on a sec. Uh, Wifey's calling. Mrs. Urban getting crazy. She's having a little too much fun. But yeah, so for most of the week, I really haven't had any knives on me because I've been sitting at my computer desk, wasting my days away because my hand's still healing, and I just feel so useless trying to baby this to let it heal and not. It's been driving me crazy, honestly. It's just because like my yard needs mowed, and I've had to wait for Mrs. Urban to get home to wash dishes, and she's bitching about how she hates having to come home and wash dishes, and I'm just like, I can't wash dishes because of this thing healing. And it's just I can't get out to the workshop and turn some more wood lathe pieces and make some more bowls and vases and shit. I can't. This has just really like hindered me from being able to do stuff for like the last 2.5 weeks, and it sucks. It really does. I mean, I know some people would be like, yes, I get to chill and be lazy and not do anything. No, it is driving me crazy. It is really driving me crazy. I'm so mad that I've got to wait for this stupid thing. I gotta give it at least another 3 or 4 days before I can get back to doing anything with my left hand and being able to use both hands to do something. It's just bothering me so much. Ah, it sucks. It really freaking sucks. Oh, you gave your kiddo. How old is your kiddo? First vintage Barlow. What brand? I have the first real pocket knife that I ever received was this thing. So your son is 11 and your daughter's 14, and does your daughter have a knife? Have you given your daughter a knife, or is she not into knives? She not care? But yeah, this was my first. So knife, my first knife that had a blade was just your one of your SD classics, just your little Victorinox SD classic keychain knife. That was the first thing that my dad ever gave me, and I was probably like 5 years old, and he took the blade, the actual blade, he took a file to it and dulled it up so that I wouldn't cut myself. So basically, he gave me an SD classic where the blade was nothing better than a butter knife. You know, that's all there was to it. I could open birthday cards and Christmas cards with it. That was pretty and spread butter. That was pretty much all I could do with it. But I was like somewhere right around 5 years old when he gave me that. And then the next knife, which I want to say 494, 9, 8. So I was 4, 5, 6. So then when I was like 6.5, when I was about 6.5, I received, I I purchased with my own allowance. Trying to pull it out of the thing that's above me. I pulled it. I picked this up at a craft fair, and it's all wood. The whole thing is wood. So as you can see, this 1994 on it. So I picked this thing up at a craft fair in 1994, obviously. Uh, and I was born at the end of '87. So yeah, I was about six and a half when I got this. The hilarious story, which I know I've told, but it's probably been a while since I told the story on this one. So when I got this during I think either spring or summertime. Um, and and I went the next school year once school started back up, and it's first grade or whatever. Yeah, I think it was first grade. Pretty sure I was in first grade at the time. Um, but I took it to school with me for show and tell. Yes, this one right here. This went to elementary school for show and tell on a Friday. And me having no thought in my mind whatsoever about the safety issue with bringing something like this, because I was like, it's just wood. It's just wood. It's not an actual knife. It's not a weapon. Our school scissors are way more dangerous than this. But apparently, because of the fact that it looks like a knife and it looks like a blade, even though it's just wood and it's not sharp at all whatsoever, not whatsoever. Yeah, so I got sent to the principal's office. My parents had to come, and there's a lot of reprimanding, and I got sent home for the rest of the day, and yeah, so it was not it was not good. All right, Neil, just tell us all how much of an old man you are. But yeah, so that's the story with that one. Um, so yeah, so that was kind of pretty much, I guess, the second knife that I got. So then the third knife that I was allowed to have, and this was my first real knife because my dad did not dull the blade. He let me have a sharp blade. This is an official Boy Scouts of America official knife. This particular one, because I know they had over every decade or so, they had a different company was the ones that they had make it. So this one is a Camelius brand, made in New York. So it's a Camelius New York model. But this is what has been for 40 plus years. Um, the common Boy Scout official Boy Scout knife, and this has been the style of it, where you get the main blades, you get the all pick deal, very pointy tip. It's not a true awl because it doesn't have the hole. It's not a leather working awl, which normally has that hole right there. Um, but it's really just an all pick, and then you got the two different types of can opener and bottle opener, um, with your flathead driver end to it. But yeah, so this is my first official knife with a live edge, with a real edge that I was allowed to have working sharp. um, but yeah, this was it, and it got used a crap ton. I'm surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised how nicely in shape it is, because I didn't baby my stuff, but I did do an extremely, especially for a kid, an outdoorsy kid. I did one hell of a job keeping my stuff looking pretty darn nice, despite how heavily I used things, because I absolutely did heavily use things. But yeah, so that was my first real knife. And it's kind of, I don't know if those are going to be end up, 100 plus years from now, be worth a whole lot, since of the fact that I'm pretty positive that they stopped doing putting Boy Scouts of America on the blade on the knife. I'm sure it now says Scouts of America or Scouting of America. Since the last handful of years, it's been uh, changed to Scouting of America or Scouts of America because of the laws allowing girls to be in Boy Scouts, which we're not going to go into that, but I am very much against it for many, many reasons. And it bothers me. I pretty much try not to think about it, but it really does bother me because I would have loved for my kids, especially my youngest, suburban, would have been fantastic to have him in Boy Scouts and go through the scouting program. The reasons why he's not in it and not participating in Boy Scouts and in Cub Scouts and going through that program is because of how much that program has changed and the type of people that are running it and the way that they're running it now is very much way off from what that program was for me, and the values that I saw in that program are not really there. They don't drive the program the way that it was meant to be for young boys. Yeah, going, learning life skills, pioneering skills, leadership skills. There's so much that is now not driving the program the way that it used to, and it really sucks, and that really bothers me. And I do not want any of my kids. I don't want my boys in a program that's not going to benefit them in the ways that that program is supposed to. Yeah. My 14-year-old, well, almost 14-year-old, Zoe Bugs, that's my nickname for her. Her name's Zoe, which is kind of funny because Stevie's daughter is Zoe, and they're close to the same age. I'm pretty sure his daughter is like a year or two older, but yeah. So it's kind of funny that Stevie and I both have daughters named Zoe, and they're not too far apart in age. But yeah. So my daughter is in Girl Scouts and working. I think she's working on her silver right now this year. But that's the second from the highest. The highest in Girl Scouts is gold, the gold award, which is basically supposedly the Girl Scouts version uh, of being an Eagle Scout for a Boy Scout. Um, but yeah, so she's got, as far as the Girl Scout program goes, which is a lot more lean towards. It's got some outdoor activities. It's got some outdoor skills uh, in the program, but it's a little bit more like, I feel like Girl Scouts is more um, leadership and teamwork um, and community involvement. That's where they are so heavily infused in those particular traits and those particular skills. Boy Scouts was more for me growing up. Boy Scouts was much more along the lines of outdoor survival, outdoor skills, not necessarily so much hunting, but the pioneering and the camping and working with you know nature and survival and along with leadership and all the other stuff. But yeah, the fact that girls are now in Boy Scouts and it's no longer Boy Scouts, um, it's really tough for somebody like me from the generation that I grew up in and the experience that I had in Boy Scouts and what I read about these girls that have gotten the Eagle Scout award. That let me just say this and we'll move on. Okay, when I was in Boy Scouts, and this is how I've always felt. This is how I felt since I moved from Cub Scouts into Boy Scouts. when I went from elementary school to middle school. So since I was like 13 years old, this is how I felt about this, and it will not ever change. Okay, the Eagle Scout Award is supposed to be such a high honor and something that requires many years of not just learning skills, but growing as a person, growing as a human being, growing into a and to a level of strong leadership, of strong morals, of having a solid sense of direction of where you want to go in life, and knowing what you're worth, and knowing that you are going to have no trouble going out there in the world independently and getting it, getting after it. That there's nothing that's going to stop you because you have learned so much, because you have grown so much, because your maturity is at such a high level. And that is to be respected, to be appreciated as an American citizen, to have individuals, Eagle Scouts, that are at that level in life. And in order to get there, it takes time. There's absolutely no reason that a 14 or 15-year-old should already be an Eagle Scout. They should not. If that is the case, then the program has failed the scout. That is how I feel about it. Because there's no way in hell that a 14 or 15-year-old has achieved all the requirements that are there for earning the rank of Eagle. There's no way they did that in 2.5 years or less. No way, no absolute way. Knowing, having gone through that program the way that I did, and becoming an Eagle Scout at the pace that I became it, and knowing who I am as a person and how much that program and that earning that rank changed me as a person, there's absolutely no way that a 13, 14, just turned 15-year-old should be an Eagle Scout. They got handed that award. In my opinion, that award was given to them. They did not earn it the way that they should have, the way that it's supposed to be earned. And God, that bothers the hell out of me. Now, when I was in Scouts, I went to local events. I interacted with multiple troops at a very local level, but then I also went to and worked at a summer camp that was not just a regional type summer camp. Like, we had people we had scouting troops from other countries. We had a Vietnamese troop. We had a South Korean troop. We had 1 week we had a Russian troop. We had a couple of British troops, scouts from England, come attend our summer camp for a week. So I got to see scouts from not just the southeast Georgia, or not just the southeastern United States, the Tennessee, Carolinas, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, but I also saw scouts and saw uh, the scouting programs from other countries overseas, and not just English speaking ones. So, with that being said, not every Eagle Scout is the same. Not every troop teaches the program the same way. You're naturally going to get that. There's no doubt about that. So, and I also went to Philmont, which is a scouting ranch out in New Mexico, um, and went out there for almost two full weeks. Did a bunch of backpacking, horseback riding, black powder, long rifle shooting, herding cattle. Did a chunk of rock climbing. I did a whole bunch of stuff out there, really cool, fun stuff, and learned an insane amount on that kind of lifestyle and those different types of activities. Um, I learned a lot about how a ranch in the Midwest works, how it functions, the role of a cowboy and everything that a cowboy does. Why do you think I love wearing cowboy hats? Because I've done just a smidge of that, a very small smidge of that, but I have experienced it enough to understand it and have a very deep appreciation of that lifestyle and that kind of work, and how tough that lifestyle is, and how much they have to go after it day after day after day just to put steak on everybody's table who wants steak, so yeah, so I get all of that, and I met a whole bunch of people from the other coast in the Midwest, and the Pacific Coast, scouts of all different calibers. Some Eagle Scouts don't know their knots, do not know pioneering skills, don't know how to do lashings and make a tripod, or a chair out of sticks and rope. They don't know how to do that. So, some Eagle Scouts don't know anything about finances, don't know how to balance a checkbook. Um, that's part of financial responsibility, is one of the things that you have to learn in order to become an Eagle Scout. There's a whole class on it. I hated it. My mom's a retired banker. She was a financial advisor for the bank Wachovia. You know you know how much it sucked having to learn that stuff from my mom, who's a financial specialist at a bank. she's got a freaking um, file box filled with awards, like one or two of these file boxes up in the attic filled with awards plaques from all of her accomplishments at the local Wachovia branch that she worked at. I think she worked there for maybe 5 to 7 years, something like that. But she got a whole pile of awards. So it's crazy. But that's who I had teach me about world economics, and both world economics is macro, and then microeconomics is the U.S. economy, and then about finances, about banking stuff, balancing a checkbook, not living beyond your means. That I had to learn all that from her. And as part of one of the merit badges that I had to earn in order to become an Eagle Scout. Like, and there's just so many Eagle Scouts out there that don't know half of the stuff that the rest of us Eagle Scouts know. Um, and I kind of understand, like, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's always to an extent, but yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I know, and again, it's always, and that was the last point I was trying to make, is not every Eagle Scout is the same, and so I guess in a sense, it doesn't matter whether it's a female or a male that earns the rank of Eagle. You're going to have Eagles that are much better Eagles than other Eagles. I guess is the last workaround point that I'm trying to make is and that's with every organization. So it's not just scouting. It's every job, every business, every organization. You're gonna have some that are way better than others at the top level, the middle level, and the bottom level. That's just again like Hayes Johnson's is saying. It's all about how much work you put into it. It's going to get reflected in how much you get out of it. If you don't put in much, you might not get out much. And it doesn't help when the troops, when the leadership doesn't teach you what they should teach you. They're not providing you the opportunity to learn everything that you should learn in order to become a well-rounded Eagle Scout. Yeah. So I, no, nothing against anybody particularly. I don't know everybody. I don't know every Eagle Scout. So if your daughter became an Eagle Scout or whatever, um, and they know their stuff and they've got enough experience, and they truly are worthy of it, then I'm all for them. But I feel like because of the way the program has gone since they let females in, it's just gotten worse. It's just gotten more difficult for any scout, boy or girl, to get as much out of that program as they could and should. I feel like it's not the fault of the scout, of the child. It's the fault of the leadership of the organization as a whole. I hope that keeps everybody understanding that my frustration is not that these kids aren't doing it, it's that the organization is not doing it. Savvy? We good? We good? No hard feelings, please. Please, no hard feelings. But that is just altogether, that's how I feel about it. It's very frustrating to me, the direction that organization has gone in. But I don't know if he's still here or not. That is my father. That is my dad right there, Mr. GE. And yeah, he's been having a lot more fun than I have, and started off much sooner than I did with this whole AI for photos and videos, and what you can do with AI. So the thumbnail for this video, I literally just uh, punched it in the real photo of me with my motorcycle wearing the cowboy hat, and I punched that in, and I just asked AI to make it cartoon. I just said, just make it cartoon, and that's what it did on its very first try. So not too shabby. Actually, it looks pretty darn good. Kind of cool, kind of fun. So to kind of go back towards knives a little bit. Um, let me pull up. Well, I showed y'all. I'm not gonna show that again. We talked about that last week. But one of Aries' most recent Aries EDC's more recent lives that he did, he was working on his Raptors, and then he showed for a minute was working on my knife, my design. So that got me very excited again. Like I'm not tickled to death enough as it is that he's building my knife that I designed. I'm just so thrilled about that becoming a reality. and him doing it for me, because I wanted a knife maker that does what he does in showing all the pretty much all the steps of the process. I I love that. I that's I hope that anybody who watches my wood turning videos appreciates that as much as I appreciate seeing Aries EDC show his process and how he's making all of his knives that he makes. I'm hoping that people watch and enjoy the videos that I post of me turning wood pieces on my wood lathe. That they see those videos in the with the same um, joy and satisfaction that they appreciate me setting the camera up and showing me do my thing. It's just cool. It's just cool once you get an item to know that you can go back. Well, one, see it in real time, go through its process, but then also go back and be able to, when you're showing it to other people, and or your friends or family or whatever, and be like, hey, isn't this cool? Somebody made this for me, and you can go see how they made it. You can watch their process. Like, to me, that's just really cool, and I love that. So, but where was I gonna go? Oh, yeah, let's new. Here, let me share so that y'all can see what I'm seeing. Ugh. Share screen. There we go. All right. So now y'all see what I'm seeing. Yep. White Mountain Knives. Oh, where's it at? This thing. Well, not that particular one. Hold on. It was this one. Look at that Damasteel pattern. You see that? That is freaking wicked. Absolutely wicked. I love that. That is insane. And overall, the design is pretty sweet. Who's the designer for this? I don't even know who that is. Tashi Baruka. 3.34-inch blade. That is a neat looking knife. I really, really like that. That's a cool knife. I love that pattern of that Damasteel. That's really sweet. But anyways, where's the other one I was looking at? This I don't understand. This I don't understand. Why the thumb stud when you got a decent sized thumb hole and a groove cut out there? Why both? What is the need for both of those? Hmm? Like overkill. Seriously, you don't need all that. And then they went and did an M390, which you know how Sharif feels about M390. So and then it's like they couldn't decide what blade shape they wanted, so they just went with like three. They did the harpoon, then they clip point, and then Tonto. Yeah, like okay, Tonto, clip point, harpoon with thumb hole, thumb groove, and thumb stud. And then I don't know how everybody else feels, but I cannot stand lanyard holes that are like that. That bothers me. I cannot do lanyard holes on knives. I do not like knives that do lanyard holes like that, where they disrupt the flow of the lines, the overall flow of the lines of the knife. Like, can we seriously get, because it takes a step down right there from the scales there. You see the metal take a step down, so it doesn't even stay in line with the rest of the handle. It steps down, then comes out, and then another angle down, and then at the very end of it, it curves back into the very back end of the handle, there by the clip mounting holes. It's just like awful way of doing a lanyard hole. I hate that. I don't. That just doesn't make not just ergonomically, but aesthetically, visually appealing. It is not. It is not visually appealing like that. I do not like it when they do that. That's a terrible knife because of those reasons. The lanyard hole and the can make up your mind with how you want to do the opening mechanism on the blade, uh, with it being three different things going on there, and then you got three different blade shapes that, and not just only do you have three different blade shapes that you're trying to incorporate into the blade stock, but then you're just labeling it harpoon, clip point, tonto, blade. I mean, like, come on, seriously, what are we doing? What are we doing with that? These mini bulldogs are pretty cool. I just don't want another. I don't care for access locks anymore. I got over that after purchasing and owning and using 6 or 7 Benchmades that have the access lock. Plus, I have the Giant Mouse Ace Nazca, which has the access lock. And I've got like 1 or 2 other knives that have access locks. Um, I've got a drop bear with the access lock, the one that they gave us free at Blade Show at the Kaiser dinner. This is one of Kaiser's new latest and greatest new knives, the Spitfire. It's a nice looking knife. If I can get to, there we go. Yeah, that's a nice spear pointed drop point. It's saying it's a drop point, but that's almost a spear point. That's almost a spear point. But yeah, very nice looking knife. Um, bolster lock basically. Nice pocket clip. That's a good looking knife. What's the blade length? Just a little over 3 inches. S35 in. Polish DLC. Everybody's after that DLC because you can polish it and it looks freaking sick when you polish it. Even though these are just a soft polish, it's really insane when you go to a higher polish with DLC. Those of y'all who have something like that know what I'm talking about. The high polish DLC looks freaking gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Um, I'm so sick of seeing Hinderers. Hinderer needs to die. They need to be done. I'm just so tired of seeing Hinderers on all this knife websites. I'm just sick of them. So freaking sick of them. They're not bad knives. I don't care for the style, and it's annoying just how saturated the market is with them. Like it's just so present. It's annoying. It's gotten very annoying. Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, it's a good thing because my money's tied into my custom fixed blade that Aries making, but I'm also having him make me the harpoon bloom as well, and I gave him some handle material to use on that one, so that's going to be cool too because I'm providing the a certain type of wood that's going to be used for the handle. Um, it's going to be a very rustic looking harpoon bloom with that particular type of wood. So yeah, I don't. He's probably not even started that one. I'm kind of with that. I'm at the very end of his list of builds, and I'm glad he's kind of. I do feel like he's a little excited about doing my custom design because it's something different. It's a little more away from what his design um, uh, fancy is. So it is something new and different. And I can't stand having to make multiples and multiples of the same thing. Like that just gets to me. That's a little overwhelming in its repetitiveness, and it feels like it just gets super redundant over time. Always making the same cuts, the same pieces over and over and over and over. Um, yeah, like building cabinets and building furniture to where you're constantly making the exact same stuff over and over and over again. Can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, there is. Oh, what's the name of it? I am going to. I know what it is. Uh, I am going to get plan to next Friday. Might even do it. No, I'll have ordered it well before the live. But next Friday on the 22nd, I am going to get not the one with the titanium. Go back to shop wall. I want to get one of these nerds. Pretty sure I'm gonna go with the nerd. I like the nerd. I haven't picked up my last 4+ knives folders that I purchased have all been um, over 3 inches in blade length, and so I've not purchased a smaller knife in a good long time. Well, in retrospective to what feels like a long time for me, I guess. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a little while since I picked up a small knife. So I want to get one of these nerds, and they are dropping another decent sized batch of them from what I've been told, from what I understand, um, on the 22nd. And it told me that somewhere here, I believe. Oh no, wait. No. It says it's in stock? Oh no, this is not the Holy Nerd. Hold on. That's the wrong one. I want the Holy Nerd. Was that in the yeah, that was in the thing. I guess I selected the wrong one. Um nerd scale nerd scale sets. These are the nerd scales. I've been floating around too much on the internet today. Nerd knives. Here we are. Nerd knives. Come on, internet. Oh, I'm not even sharing with you guys. Hold on. My bad. Somebody the Kaiser Cormorant is still really um okay. Share screen. So yeah, I do not own a TRM. Do not own a TRM, but I want to get the um, this one, the red linen micarta, and it says here coming August 22nd. Holier Nerd Lino Magna Cut coming August 22nd. So I want that sucker right there, the red one. But yeah, nice little compact folder with insanely good ergos for its size. Like it's just phenomenal how nice the ergos are on it. Like once you get in your hand, yeah, it's still a small knife, but it feels like a small knife in your hand. But the way the ergos are, the type of grip that you get, you just have such a dominant um, placement in the hand with it that you don't use it like a small knife. Like it's really good the way the ergos are for it. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick one up because I do not own a TRM, and I'm all about the U.S. knives when they're at a fairly fair price. I know they're in general a little high, $230, a little on the higher end for a knife this size, even though it is Magna Cut and 3D contoured micarta, linen micarta. But yeah, I believe I have to look up, but I believe that I can get military discount. I'm sure I can. Does anybody know exactly how you're supposed to do that on TRM's website? Don't they? They do give you military discount, don't they? I might have to call them. I'm not always the best at navigating new websites. Um, Let me see if it's FAQ. Yeah, right here, very first one. Yes, offer 10 first responders. Email with proof of military service and your employer. As a first responder, Aaron will send you a discount code to use at checkout. Okay, so that answers my question. Thank you. Thank you for having a solid built website that's easy to navigate through and get those questions answered. I love it when websites do a good job, and when companies do a good job with their websites and don't have shit websites that don't navigate very well and don't have hardly any information. So, yeah, thank you TRM for doing this right for your customers. But yeah, definitely want to snag one of those. It likes to default to the carbon fiber. The burlap looks sick too. I'm tempted to go with the burlap, but I've got quite a few burlap knives, and I do like the red linen. I do like the red linen. The red linen has a nice feel. All of those, all of us that are a little bit of micarta nerds, fans, um, yeah, it's I love the different feels of the different types of micarta. I really do. And burlap is one of my favorites, and then your linen is one of my other favorites, and then my third favorite is your blue jean, your denim blue jean micarta. That shit feels really good too. I love the burlap, the linen, and the denim micarta. Those are my favorite three types of micarta. The canvas micarta. My problem with the canvas micarta is so many people don't do it right. They don't do it justice. They don't leave it raw enough for you to feel its texture. Too many companies want to polish it and sand it smooth, but not smooth to the point of being glassy smooth, just smooth to where you don't get the beneficial grippy feel that my micarta has when it gets just a little bit wet, where your hands are a little sweaty and oily or whatever, and the micarta feels grippy. Too many companies with their canvas micarta, they sand it up past the point to where those benefits don't shine, and that I don't like that. Like you just ruined it. For me, they ruined it when they polish it up too much, when they sand it smooth to where it doesn't do what my micarta is meant to do. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I guess I'm just reading and learning about micarta and all the different fabric materials used for micarta and the different aspects of it. I've just gotten picky. I've just gotten picky. The more I know, the more picky I get. Right? Am I? Is it bad that I've gone that way? Um, yeah, exactly. And that's why I want this. Is because for the for my fixed blade, for my small fixed blade, I am having uh, I'm having Aries Scott put the jute micarta, which is another one of my favorites. Jute is pretty much it is so similar to burlap micarta. Jute micarta is. I gotta go to. Bear with me. I gotta go to my messages with him of all our back and forth communication. Which I do gotta say, Aries is Scott is awesome with communicating. Um, he is fantastic with communicating, and and that has been an absolute pleasure because it really ruins the experience when the maker does not communicate very well. That like that instantly ruins the the overall experience, like really bad. Um, when things are super difficult with the lack of communication. But where's the link? I have the link that he sent me for doing. Here it is. All right. Share Z. Remove that one and share this one right here. That's your jute micarta in the Bordeaux red. And so, awesomely, is that a word? Awesomingly, very fantastically, awesomely, making up words today. That Bordeaux color of red, that is the color of my motorcycle. My motorcycle is that color red, the Bordeaux red, or however you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it right. I might not. I don't know. But yeah, so that is the red that my motorcycle is. And so for my first knife design being made as a small fixed blade, which I did not think was going to be my first design being made a reality. I was really trying to make a folder be my first knife, but is what it is. That's usually how it goes. Is for a designer, their first knife is typically a fixed blade, and then they go to folders. I was trying to break that pattern and go folder first, but it didn't happen. But yeah, that's the same color as my motorcycle tank and fenders and everything. So it's going to kind of be fun having my knife handle be the same color as my motorcycle. But yeah, jute fabric and colored epoxy resin. So jute is a natural plant-based material made into rough, coarse weave fabrics similar to burlap. Because of its coarse open weave of the jute fabric, composites made from it exhibit more visual depth than similar composites made from linen or canvas material. Depending on how it's finished, the coarseness of the jute may also provide an extra element of grippiness when used on knife handles, pistol grips, and other similar items. So again, I don't want him to sand it too much. I want that grippiness properties of the material. But yeah, the Bordeaux red. Gonna be sweet. Jute micarta. Basically almost burlap. But yeah, definitely absolutely excited for that. Yeah. So right on, right? Yeah, it's gonna be good. I can't wait to show it off and use the hell out of it because it's gonna be an awesome little EDC carry. Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah, I've made plenty of jute and sessile rope fire starters. I actually here. Let me. This is interesting if y'all don't know, but I'll pull it up. Channel and videos. It was I made roughly a year or so ago, I believe. I think I did a video on making some rope fire starter. me see if I can freaking find it. Was it longer than a year ago? It might have been. Where are you, video? Where are you, video? No, it wasn't. It wasn't that one. Back. Where'd that video go? Where'd that video go? Come on. Where you at? I don't know why I can't find it. Maybe if I go to my comments section, can I find it there? Short. Analytics. No community. Somebody commented on one of my videos about where I made some fire starter out of sessile rope. Sessile rope, however you pronounce it. And they were saying how sessile is treated. Many sessile rope is treated to be water resistant, or or repellent or whatever, and they were basically arguing that it does not work as a good fire starting tool. That the jute is a much better way of doing it. And to what they were saying, yes, but not if you get untreated sessile rope cordage. If it's not been treated, then it works exactly the same way as your jute cordage does, and it will hold lighter fluid stuff, and oil, and and wax and everything, exactly how I made them. I can't find it. I don't know why I can't find it. I can't find the dang video, and I can't find it through looking at most recent comments. But I know it's there. But yeah, so I had to kind of like set them straight / educate them so that they understood, because they didn't know, and they were going based off of just what they knew, and they weren't wrong. It's just they also weren't right, and the sake of the fact that the sessile rope that I purchased and used was non-treated, was 100% natural, and absolutely worked. Yeah, I don't know why I can't find it. Probably because they probably deleted their comment, and that's why I can't find it. That's why. Because after getting them on the same page as me, they might have been a little embarrassed or felt like, well, then he proved me wrong, and I don't feel like leaving my comment up there with his when he proved me wrong. So I mean, and it's not a matter of proving him wrong. I wish he didn't delete it. I wish he had left it up there because it's to me, like, the whole purpose of it is to educate, is to inform people, and provide more details about different materials and different methods of creating, whether it's fire starters or whatever. Just just different ways of doing things. The more of that information that's out there, the more benefit that is to everybody else. You know, because then it allows you to pick and choose which way you want to do it, and based off of where you think this method will be easier for me versus these other methods. It will be easier for me to do, and then also maybe one method will work better for your situation and scenario than others. So I mean, I like having more information out there, better in general, as long as it's correct and verifiable information and not false info. I hate people who put up false info. So yeah, again, exactly. It's not about being wrong or right. It's about, hey, you know, we know this, but then we also know this, and if you know that, then all the more power to you to make a better informed decision on something, right? And, and so, yeah, just the more you know, the more it can help you in possibly an emergency situation. So that's I'm all about education. How do you everything I know is because somebody told me, or I read it somewhere, or experienced it, and fucked around and found out the wrong way. So like you learn in all your different ways and forms, and as long as you don't as long as you learn from it, then and grow from it, and not make the same mistakes over and over again, then that makes you all that much more power in your ability to do things and survive and strive. Not just survive, but strive. It's just like our economy right now, and everybody that is struggling. Oh, that's something we could talk about. Not trying to get really into politics, but I understand that within the political spectrum, individuals that lean more towards one side are upset about this right now, and the rest of us that lean in the other direction absolutely love what's going on. But do we dare talk about the joyous occasion of EBT changing? So let me say this. Let me say this. I have a younger brother. My younger brother. We're about almost exactly 6.5 years apart from one another. Okay, 6.5 years apart. Younger brother. He does the whole farming life thing. He works and does repairs on farming machinery and equipment, tractors, and backhoes and all that kind of stuff, and generators, large generators, and industrial machinery stuff and everything, up in North Georgia, Athens area. He works for a company up there, and he also has about 100 acres with him and his wife, and his wife owns X number of cattle, Black Angus cattle, that they sell on the meat market, on the cattle market. And then he has chicken houses where he gets thousands and thousands upon thousands of chickens, and grows the chickens, and then they pick them back up. And so anywhere in the southeast, you go to a Zaxby's or Chick-fil-A or KFC, you might end up possibly eating a chicken that came from my brother's, chicken houses. Possible. He's not the only grower, obviously, but he grows an insane number of chickens all year round, year after year, all year round. He's been doing it for probably about maybe 5, 6 years so far. It's not a business to make money. He is barely his cost to his revenue. Uh, he the basically him doing the chicken raising is paying for the chicken houses still. He's just barely breaking even. Some months he gets a little bit more. There are plenty of months where he's a little bit less. Um, so all in all, roughly he's barely breaking even. He's not making any money in the chicken raising business these days. The last handful of years. It's not a very good business to be in right now. But anyways, so that's him. That's his lifestyle. That's what he does. He has two little girls and his tiny little wife. She's small. And he's a big dude. He's bigger than me. He's got probably 60, 70 pounds on me easily. He's a bigger guy. But this dude, my brother, does not like the government as a farmer. He does not like the way the government treats the farming community. He does not like how they do things. They often our farmers are, whether it's poultry farmers, meat farmers, cattle raisers, and as well as plant farmers. The U.S. has not been good to them for many decades. It's just they do not do very well. It's been really rough for them. It's always been rough for them. So he kind of feels the way he does about the government and government programs. Because of that, he feels a certain way. But he and I have both were raised, at least from my father's point of view, that we should work for a living. We should earn our keep. No, we should not be accepting free handouts when we don't need them. We should not be accepting free handouts when we don't need them. All those government programs, all those government, things that are going on to assist those in troubled times. If you're not an individual in a troubled time, then those programs should not be usable by you. They only should be usable by people who are struggling. So if you're not struggling, then don't fill out the applications and don't accept free handouts. Right? That's the mindset that was instilled upon us growing up, and for the most part, that's how I feel. It is absolutely still the way that he feels. But he is more religiously on track with that than I have been. So when I started my family, when I had my first kid, when I had little Cody, yeah, exactly. They've always gotten the short end of the stick. We're literally one of the most important industries of the U.S. economy, along with construction, with building, housing, infrastructure, right? And they haven't always been treated all that well either. So it's like, come on, America, figure it out. No, but so where I was going, so when I had my first little kid, right, and my first wife could not do the breastfeeding for very long, for a couple of reasons. But so my first kid did not get both of my first two kids that I had with my first wife. They were not able to be breastfed for very long. So very quickly we were going to formula, right? For their nutrition. until they were able to eat regular food, baby food, and then regular food. So yeah, we were having to get formula, even with my military paycheck, which was decent. And once you have family, and then you get housing allowance, and you get a food allowance, and you live fairly well, even at the bottom of the totem pole of ranks. Obviously, I am. So formula, the cost of formula has for decades been absolutely outrageous. That without the government program WIC, Women and Children, without WIC checks for formula and other food items for the first handful of years of a child's life, and for the mother while they're in their second half of their pregnancy and postpartum time, uh, without that government assistance, you have to be making some serious bank, because the government has caused the pricing of formula and other items required for infants to be so outrageously, unnecessarily high. They are priced that way because of the government program, Women and Children. So why the hell wouldn't you use WIC? Why wouldn't you use that program if the program is causing the price gouging of those items? Like, the government's the reason why those items are priced that high. So why wouldn't you use the program that the government has instilled, put in place to help you out with the price gouging that it did? Like, that's logical sense to me. Okay, so like, we absolutely did the WIC, no matter how much money we made. As long as we qualified for it, we did it, because I felt like that was the government putting a check and balance on itself, unnecessarily altogether, but it was basically putting a check and balance on itself with those food items. So I had no problem using WIC, because I don't know how we would have done it. I mean, it would have been much more difficult to have a semi comfortable lifestyle without using WIC to help with the extremely high cost that they put on it on us in the first place. But for food stamps, for these EBT cards, and all these people, and it's been like coming out of the woodworks. You'd have to be underneath a rock these days to have not seen what these people are doing, because they've gotten so proud about getting thousands of dollars in food stamps, in EBT card accounts, and going out and just buying the insane amount of junk food, the sodas, the chips, the garbage cereal. Not that there's that many good cereals out there, but most of your cereal is kids cereal, and it's just sugary garbage. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy how that program has just gone off, so far in the wrong direction of trying to provide you, uh, trying to provide families with nutritional food. It's for the longest time, it's not been doing that. And to say, hey, we got to stop this and change it and make the program do what it was initially designed to do, but all these people that have been abusing it and using it inappropriately are freaking out about it. They're like, oh no, so we can't buy our Reese's and candies and our sodas and any donuts. We can't buy that with our EBT cards anymore. This is terrible. Why do we even have EBT then? It's just it blows my mind what has happened in the uh, mentality of these people in society, what it's all come to. It blows my mind. So like I am so happy that that is being corrected. Government assistance program is being revamped and redirected into the right direction of what its intended use was initially for. And yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt for all these people who got so used to, and supposedly it's generational. It's generational, like 3, 4 generations. That's how long this program has gone to the wayside. Like that's terrible. That's terrible. People want to bring politics into it, but it's you look at how many Republican presidents have not touched it, have just left it be. Look at and then all the Democrats that have just left it be. It's just that program just got ignored for so many decades. No matter who's running the government, it's just been a program that just was allowed, forgotten about by the higher end of our political ladder, just totally forgotten about, and letting it go in the direction that it went for so long. It's terrible, and it's so satisfying that it's getting fixed, because that's wasted dollars. It's going to help with, to some extent, it's going to help with the obesity problems that we have in the United States, the health, crises. I hope that the numbers of people with diabetes goes down because of this. I really do. I've got friends, not very many friends. I'm not a very popular or super likable person, but I try to be, right? Yeah, but but yeah, I know people that struggle, and it's hard to change your lifestyle when society's got things put in place that enable that lifestyle, damn near encourage it. It's hard to make those changes as a person, and as a society even more difficult. So yeah, it's going to be painful. It's going to hurt some of these individuals. It's going to hurt the individuals that we would rather it not hurt, but it's good for them anyways, right. So yeah, um hopefully people will get the idea that 5 packs of Reese's, 40 Reese's cups, full size Reese's cups a day is not the way to live. Drinking a 2-liter bottle of soda every day is not the way to live. Like that's so bad for your body. That obsessive intake of terrible stuff that's not good for you. You've got to make a change. So if all of a sudden now you can't use government taxpayer dollars to acquire those items, you've now then got to pull money out of your own pocket, money that you've earned, in order to acquire those things, and you struggle to do that, then that's going to force you into that situation where you don't get to buy 10 packs of Reese's every day. You don't get to buy and drink a 2 liter of soda every day. You're going to have to cut that back. I mean, it should not be too terrible to cut, cut it back by 50% at first, but then slowly wean yourself off of it. There's nothing wrong with having a glass of soda with a meal every couple of days, but when you're drinking 18 to 24 ounces of soda at every meal, or between every meal, Yeah. Can't be good for you. Can't be good for you. You can't be drinking these beers. Can't be drinking these beers. 3 or 4 of them a day. This cannot happen 3 or 4 times a day. It not good for you. I bought a case of this. This is the Oktoberfest. If you didn't figure it out at the beginning, but I bought a case of these at our Sam's Club. 28 of them for $29. So like $1.06 a piece, roughly, right about. Um, yeah, and I will still have some after Thanksgiving. That's how long it'll take me to drink 28 of these. Because I'm not in a hurry. I'm not dependent upon alcohol. I don't need them. I can go months without any of it. But I do enjoy it every once in a while, and that's what I do every once in a while. So yeah, it'll be. I promise you, December 1st, I will still have some of these from that 28 pack that I purchased because I don't drink them that often. But yeah, it's good that EBT Food Stamps is making that move in a much better direction for the health of America, for the health and safety of our people. But yeah, so that's that, and I don't have anything else for y'all tonight. We've gone on. I've rambled for a good length of time. Is anybody here besides Joe and Hey, it's the Johnsons? Do I and Mrs. Urban popped in? Yeah, I only have 4 viewers. That's okay. We'll call it a night, shall we? Oh, for my 3 or 4 viewers that I have right now, if you missed Stevie's live last night with Scott from Edgy Blade Works, that was a good live last night. You should go back and watch it on said Stevie's channel. Um, there was a lot of good discussion that was had. So if you missed that, go to said Stevie's channel and watch his live that he did last night with Scott, Edgy Blade Works. Awesome dude. If you've never met him, uh, he really opened up. Scott opened up and talking more about his process and his journey, which is really cool, and also his background. Uh, Neat stuff. Um, it's really cool to learn about a knife maker that's really making leaps and bounds. But then also, Stevie talked a little bit about his past and his personal life. He opened up a little bit, and if you don't really know Stevie all that well, you learn a little bit about him from his live last night. So that was kind of cool too. So yeah, it was just all together. It was a really good live, and those two are awesome dudes, and they both opened up, and I learned a few things about them that I didn't know before. So yeah, well, all right. Good night. Good weekend. Be safe. Have fun. Don't do anything too crazy. Don't want to end up like me. All right, y'all take care. Thanks for whoever's still hung in there and listening to me rambling. But yep, I'll see y'all next Friday. If I don't see in the comments and the chats and other lives over the weekend, next week I'll see y'all next week. All right, peace. I'm out.